The Godox iT32 is more than a gimmick wireless flash. Because it's really cheap, should it be your first flash? In this video review, we're gonna answer those questions. But to start, let's see what we have in the box. A carrying bag, 2 magnetic filters, 1.5 CTO, a diffuser, a magnetic base with a standard cold shoe, that's very cool, a charging cable that I forgot to record, the flash itself with no hot shoe to connect to your camera. Yes, this flash is camera agnostic. So how do you connect to your camera? You need to get one of those. This is a wireless flash trigger. Mine is the X5C, C for Canon, that magnetically attaches to the flash. It only goes one way because the magnets force it to be in the right way. Okay, you cannot use the magnets to attach to some metal pull or something like that, unfortunately, because it's inside of the flash. Now, the big question, how strong is these magnets? Pretty damn strong. It can take the weight of an entry-level camera, but not a big-ass camera. But when it gets detached is where the magic between the flash and the wireless trigger starts. It becomes actually a radio control for the flash. You can adjust the power, you can even put it in manual mode. This is awesome just to have an off-camera flash on a fly. Let's talk about the size. It's very small comparing with a traditional flash. Actually, when I put it on my big camera, it looks awkward. But when you put it on an entry-level camera, it actually looks like relatively cool. Although it's small, you have the basic wide-angle diffusion and the white card. Extremely close shots, you have the extra tilt, but you miss a battery. That means that's all internal battery. You have to recharge it via USB-C. To turn it on, you long press the button, rotate the wheel, and boom, it's on. Let's check out the touchscreen. It is amazing, and the menu is really simple to use. And it is in the menu that you start to find professional features. Features like ETTL, that means it has an automatic setting. It's a bit cloudy, but it's backlighted, and the flash will automatically adapt. So this little flash has high-speed sync, so I can go over 250 of a second with my camera. If you know that high-speed sync will put the flashes on their knees and in power. The recycling time is pretty damn good. I can keep shooting, and we are seeing the sun hood shadow, but it doesn't matter. Another cool thing that you can do with this flash, that it's a pro feature, is control other flashes, like an off-camera flash like that AD200 Pro, and it will give a hot light on Celine, our hot model today, and I turn it off. This flash is off. Check this out. Yeah, nice. Okay, up. Honestly, I'm loving it, but I need to do this. Really like this thing of off-camera flash. It gives a really cool up look to the picture. Off-camera flash, with this particular flash, you have a cool thing called TCM. TCM is a feature that you can jump from automatic mode to manual flash, okay? Which is really handy if you are doing off-camera flash. And I am in TTL, the automatic mode, and I'm gonna take a picture of Celine like so. I think the flash is way too powerful, so I'm gonna reduce to third. Now it's the look that I want. Before I remove the flash, I'm gonna jump from TTL to manual mode. The flash is saying that it's 1 quart of power, and I can use the flash like so. And how cool is that? Quick and easy off-camera flash. As long as you keep the same distance from the flash to Celine. Yes! iT32 is on her back. I can fire it by radio, but in this case we're gonna use slave mode. It's in S2. That means I'm going to use TTL with this flash. So this one will be the fill, and that one will actually be the hair light. Instead of using radio, I'm going to use this. How cool is that? That one is not firing. It looks amazing, but doesn't have the hair light. It's because the photocell is not detecting this flash. I have to find a way that the photocell actually can see that flash. Ah, now you can see the hair light. That's beautiful. Oh, that's cute. Nada, boa noite. And let's jump to the bad news. Usually traditional flashes makes a bit of zoom on the head of the flash itself. This one doesn't have any zoom on it. Now the question is, what is the field of view of this flash? So I'm gonna put the 15 millimeters just to take a picture, as so. And honestly, I think it's roughly 24 millimeters. I'm gonna zoom a little bit, between 24 and 30 millimeters. And I think that is the field of view of this flash. It's around 27 millimeters. So that makes a total sense, because a lot of entry-level cameras are APS-C and it crops on the field of view. So if you have a 17 millimeters, it will be 27 millimeters field of view equivalent, which this flash will fill. But still, if you use a 24, it creates interesting vignetting it works pretty damn well. Look here, I am in 200 millimeters, really far away, and honestly, it's quite good. And now I notice another problem of having a really small flash extremely close to the lens. The evil eye! Although it's really simple to edit. How much power is this flash? Those numbers are a bit confusing, so what we're gonna do is compare with another flash. This is the Godox V100. The comparison will be extremely simple. I found a camera setting where the iT32 has the correct exposure, and without any flash, it's completely black. Now that I have that baseline, I can put the big ass V100. Let's put this guy in manual and go all the way to the maximum power. Of course, it's overexposed. And now I'm gonna lower the power of the flash until I find a matching exposure. 8 of power and 1/3. And there we go, a matching exposure. By my calculations, the iT32 has 12 watts, equivalent 12 watts of power, comparing with the V100. But the V100, remember, it's an exceptional powerful flash. So I don't advise the iT32 to fill the shadows of sunlight backlighted subjects. It doesn't have the kick for it. So, should be the iT32 your first flash? And my answer is yes, especially because it has second-hand potential. When you become a better photographer and you invest in a much powerful flash, you can use it as a second flash or sell it to the second market because it's brand free. $20 adapter you can use no matter which camera brand, okay? And for the price, you are not breaking the bank and having a lot of fun with a small flash like this. Now, what I would love to see is use this wireless flash trigger, more accessories to it, like radio triggers, whatever. But the most important thing that you need to know is how to mix flashlight and ambient light, and that tutorial is over there.